Donald Trump wants us to believe that he is the reason that the Epstein files are being released, that it was him fighting for transparency, that when the House and the Senate passed a bill to force the release of the Epstein files, it was because Donald Trump told them to. But that's not true. It's because Donald Trump is too weak to tell them not to. This bill was going to pass with or without Donald Trump saying anything, and it is him trying to rewrite history, why he is. That is why Donald Trump is speaking out. But Donald Trump is terrified. He is panicked, and he is still trying to block the files. And we can see that in a video of him losing his mind, which is all the evidence you need that he's worried about Epstein. Carolyn Leavitt was forced to respond to it, and she instantly crumbled. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way and supporting our work. Now, before we get to Leavitt crumbling over this video of Donald Trump, I want to start with Lawrence O'Donnell's perfect analysis of what went down last night in this clip right here.
As I said, Chuck Schumer announced at 3:15 p.m. on the Senate floor that he was going to ask for unanimous consent, and Mike Johnson knew that at 3:15 p.m. because it was on television in his office. Here is that moment.
Later today, I will ask unanimous consent for the Senate to hold a vote to pass the House Epstein bill.
The entire Congress knew that as soon as Chuck Schumer said it. But now, Mike Johnson has decided he has to lie his way out of his humiliation of having told his members that the Republican leader of the Senate would absolutely amend the bill after they voted for it. Here is the pathetically humiliated, lying Speaker of the House.
Any reaction to Leader Thune, you seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I am deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments.
Every member of Congress who didn't know it already knows now that Mike Johnson has no idea what he's talking about when he tells them what's going to happen next in legislation. He is a liar or a fool to have suggested that the Senate would amend the bill, and all of his members know that now. It is impossible for a Speaker of the House to achieve a more complete legislative and strategic humiliation than Mike Johnson achieved today, and it is impossible for a president to lose every vote of every senator in his party in the United States Senate on a vote that is entirely about that president himself and his own personal history and friendship with a sex trafficker and rapist of children. Donald Trump's dictatorship over Republicans in Congress is coming apart. The Epstein files have finally broken Donald Trump's dictatorial grip on the House and on the Senate, and that is why the coverage on this program has been focused on the Epstein files this year, because it seemed like it could be the thing that finally broke the dictatorial grip, and has finally done exactly that tonight. What happens next to the dictator's grip is unknown, but remember, just a week ago, it was unimaginable that there would be a unanimous vote in the United States Senate against Donald Trump to release the Epstein files. But that is where we are tonight.
Lawrence O'Donnell is bang on, and it is up to us right now to make sure that MAGA does not get to rewrite the history of the Epstein files, because Mike Johnson is pretending that he was going along with it the entire time. And we know every Republican who voted yes yesterday, where were you when the discharge petition was being signed? If they had really cared, if they had really supported the release of these files, they would have been advocating for it from the beginning. But they all already voted no. They all already wrote their name in the history books with the pedophile protectors. There is nothing that they can do to change that. They cannot rewrite this history, especially Mike Johnson and Donald Trump. But they're trying to. They're saying, well, the files are being released, so everyone move on. The files are being released. Why do you still care? because they're not going to release the files in full. We know that. We have to keep pushing. And if you really thought that Donald Trump was all fine with the Epstein files being released, all you need to see is this video that has been so viral because of Donald Trump's panic and Carolyn Leavitt's response.
Sir, is there something incriminating in the files, sir?
White House defends Trump calling a reporter piggy. Have to be able to take it. The White House on Tuesday defended Donald Trump for calling a reporter piggy on board Air Force One over the weekend after the journalist asked a pointed question about Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. On Friday, Trump told Bloomberg White House correspondent Catherine Lucy, quiet, piggy, as she pressed him on the Epstein files. The full video of the exchange was released on Monday. MS Now's senior White House correspondent, Vaughn Hilliard, reported that the White House released a statement on the exchange as the video went viral on social media. This reporter behaved in an inappropriate and unprofessional way towards her colleagues on the plane. If you're going to give it, you have to be able to take it, said the White House. Are you serious? They're blaming another woman? That's what this administration has done throughout the entirety of this Epstein scandal as well, mind you, saying that it's a hoax, saying that it is overblown, blaming the victims, blaming the survivors who have talked extensively about how disgusted they are with Donald Trump, that he would use their stories for political purposes in his campaign only to abandon them, but that is what Donald Trump does. Carolyn Leavitt is rushing to defend this because she knows the truth of what happened. Donald Trump was panicked over Epstein. When you press him on Epstein, he loses his mind. He freaks out, and that is all the evidence that you need, that Donald Trump wasn't totally fine with the Epstein vote, happy to go along. Oh, it was him pushing for transparency. You have to know that that is what MAGA is going to say. That is what they are going to claim, that it was Donald Trump who signed the Epstein Transparency Act, that it was Donald Trump who made it law, that it was Donald Trump releasing these files, and Democrats were just out playing political games. That's what they're going to have you believe. The same man who has spent the last, week? I could say week, because there have been a specific couple of moments, but his entire life speaking to women, especially women in journalism, in the most disgusting manner possible, is not really showing us the behavior of someone who wouldn't be implicated in those Epstein files. Because of course Donald Trump is. Are they going to show those parts? No, they've redacted them already. I don't know. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. They're certainly not going to publish them. It's going to be on us to continue to push and push and push for more transparency. Because what Pam Bondi's going to do is that claim some documents can't be released for national security concerns. Pam Bondi has 30 days to put this all together. You better expect that she's going to wait to the last second. But it's why we have to keep pushing. And it's why we need folks like Ro Khanna saying this.
A co-equal branch of government, and that when we stand up, it turns out that we don't have to cave to Donald Trump. Donald Trump will cave to Congress. And I hope this is really the lesson that Republicans learn, that they can pierce Trump's intimidation and they can still survive politically.
Well, that is the lesson that Thomas Massie is teaching them, that Marjorie Taylor Greene is teaching them. They beat Donald Trump. They didn't just survive this. They have beaten him. He's the loser tonight, and they are the winners.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it was a humiliation. Trump saw that he was going to lose 60 to 70 Republicans who were going to vote against him. And, you know, Speaker Johnson, as you put it, I mean, it was a complete humiliation for him. He kept adjourning Congress to try to block this vote. Then he tried to plead with the Senate to amend the bill. Again, a failure. He ends up voting for a bill that he was against. Today is a day, because of the survivors, that we can say is the beginning of the end of the Trump presidency. I really believe that, because Trump's whole tactic is fear. Get people to comply thinking he's all powerful. But this is a Wizard of Oz moment. People stood up to him, they won, and they realized that they have support from people in their own party.
We watched you develop this bipartisan support. First of all, Congressman Massie, who was with you right from the start. Then we saw other Republicans come in just enough to get to that 218 number of signatures on the discharge petition. And then the question was going to be, everyone thought. What happens in the United States Senate? Because we started to see that clearly you were going to prevail on the discharge petition. It was going to make it through the House. And at this point last week, people were talking about, well, maybe it'll never come to a vote in the Senate. I believed if you could achieve a massive Republican vote in the House, John Thune wouldn't be able to ignore it. But here we are. John Thune, in his way, ignored the bill by not even daring to show his face on the Senate floor when the vote occurred, the unanimous vote that Chuck Schumer pulled off today.
It was incredible. And I remember being on your program where you said if you got big numbers, then the Senate would move. And you're an expert of the Senate, so I took heart with that. But you turned out to be right. Look, what happened is that Donald Trump figured out that it would have been a huge embarrassment for him to be opposed to this. And I think the Republican senators realized that they don't want to be the ones defending the Epstein class. They don't want to be the ones defending rich and powerful men who have abused and raped these young girls. Who were telling their stories. And so I appreciate Senator Schumer bringing this and getting the unanimous consent. It's going to go to the president's desk. But I just wanted to say, Lawrence, your role in this cannot be underestimated, because if we did not have that press conference at the Capitol, we would not have had the momentum to pass this in the House of Representatives. And the only reason we had this, and I've said this many times before, and I'll keep saying it, is because your team had Bradley Edwards on, and he was the link that got us those survivors, that had us subpoena the Epstein estate, but that had those survivors come to the Capitol. And they really deserve the credit. They deserve the credit for this. They should be there at the signing whenever the president signs it. And they deserve the credit for helping bring the Congress together on an issue and giving the Congress spine to remember that we're Article 1 of the Constitution.
This is not a time to forget about Epstein. This is a time to push for the conversation around this cover-up even more. And it is not just about the last couple of months. I will stress that as much as possible. We have to remember that this cover-up started before Donald Trump was president, of course, but while he was president, he was engaged in this cover-up. While Donald Trump was president, and now I have the same cold that Lawrence O'Donnell does, and y'all know that, while Donald Trump was president, he was bringing in Jeffrey Epstein's closest friends, the people who got him off, the people who knew the most about him. That cover-up happened, and we got to find out if it went to the extent of leading to Epstein's death. We're going to be covering that on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on this video if you stuck around to the end, even with my sick voice. You can drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.